Good morning, everyone. I'm Anupama Rao. I'm the lead for the volunteer program, and we have our guest speaker today, Nelson from Suicide Prevention India Foundation. He is, very gracious to accept my invitation, and we are so happy to have you here. We are so happy that we have so many volunteers here. We had a lot more volunteers, Nelson. It's just that their timing doesn't work because they are all students, some of them. So they preferred an evening time, but this was a very last minute thing that we could go to and fro, and we got you here. So thank you, Nelson, and we are grateful for this talk with you. So please, Nelson, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell our viewers all the work, all the great work you've done, and we can't wait to hear from you. Over to you, Nelson.
As Anupama has graciously introduced me, um, my name is Nelson Vinod Moses. I'm the founder of Suicide Prevention India Foundation. We are a 5-year-old organization. We are a not-for-profit incubated at IIM Bangalore. We believe that suicide is preventable, and it's a public health crisis that is solvable, is addressable, and solvable by all of us. What do I mean by this, right? All of us. Y'all are crisis helpline volunteers, so y'all are directly involved. What about your friends? What about your family? What about others who are not involved in this? Well, all of us can help prevent suicide. It's as simple as taking time to recognize that somebody is not okay, and to be able to, listen to what they are going through, and then to be able to provide them with some emotional support, and then to be able to refer them to a mental health professional, right? Okay, first of all, as I said, I think suicide is preventable by all of us, and I'm glad that we have all of you here today. I just want to do a simple exercise to bring all of you to this moment, right? We'll spend 2 minutes just breathing in and breathing out, and start off by closing your eyes. Yes, start by closing your eyes. Sit in a comfortable position and take deep breaths. Take a deep breath through your nostrils, all the way to your lungs and your stomach. And then slowly breathe out. Again, do this one more time. And as you do it, just focus on the sounds outside. Take a deep breath, hold it for a few seconds, and just release it. Take a deep breath and focus on your breath and slowly release it. I want you to focus on the sounds outside your house. Listen to it. Do you hear dogs barking? Is there traffic? Is there anything else? Keep taking deep breaths and breathing normally. With each breath, focus on the breath going inside your nostrils and slowly coming out through your nostrils. Please take a moment to focus on the sounds inside your own house. Can you hear, maybe your wife or your husband or your kids or the pets? Just keep breathing and focusing. Try and enter a point where you're focused on your body. Be aware of the sounds outside and inside. Slowly keep breathing deeply. And every time you take a breath, breathe in more and more deeply. And every time you take a breath, say, in come positivity, out go negativity. In comes peace, out goes stress. In comes forgiveness, out goes bitterness. In comes joy, out goes anxiety. And every time you take a deep breath, let that peace and that love and that joy spread throughout your body. And every time you breathe out with a foo, and let all the tension that you're holding within you, let it slowly go out. Are you feeling angry with someone? Let that anger out. Are you feeling irritated? Are you feeling betrayed? Are you feeling unloved? Just let it go out. And every time you take a deep breath, let your mind, your body, and your soul Fill with that joy, fill with that happiness. Take a few more deep breaths, two more. Bring your focus to this moment. Offer gratitude to Pran Foundation. Offer gratitude to yourself. Thank Suicide Prevention India Foundation and thank me. And I want to thank all of you for being here today. Fill your heart with gratitude and say, in comes gratitude, in comes thankfulness, and out goes stress and anxiety, anger and pain. One last deep breath and then slow down. And then I want you to bring your palms together, rub it vigorously till you generate some heat. Slowly cup your eyes, open your eyes and your palms, and come back to this moment. Yeah. Okay, everyone, welcome to today's training. I'm going to be talking about suicide prevention and self-harm, a very heavy topic. Some of you obviously have had experience directly or indirectly. Some of the concepts might be new to you. Some of this might be something that needs to be reinforced. I want you all to ask me questions. So put your hand up, raise your hand. I will unmute you and you can ask questions. All right. So I'm going to get started. If you get triggered, please reach out to Anupama or any one of the other volunteers. We want to help you, right? So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, there you go. This conversation is going to be something which is going to be part very theoretical, part going to be very much related to my own life. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it. Like I said, I've been doing this for 5 years. We are a Section 8 not-for-profit incubator at IIM Bangalore. We view suicide as a public health crisis. There are 164,000 suicides. Every suicide, there are 25 attempts. Every suicide, there are 100 people actively thinking about it. So in your own lifetime, considering that there is our average age span right now is about 70 years. If you multiply 164,000 by the number of people who are impacted by it, all of you will be directly impacted by it. You will find that either somebody you know closely will attempt suicide. Unfortunately, some might die by suicide. Sometimes we might experience suicidal ideation, self-harm. Some of us might attempt, and hopefully none of us will pass away, right? But this particular session, it might be just for 90 minutes, but I can guarantee you, if you listen through for the next 90 minutes, you're going to gather the courage, the experience, the confidence and the knowledge to be able to help yourself and others. So take a photo of this. This is important. I'm sure that your own helpline hopefully is listed in our directory. So all of you have access to this. So we're going to be talking a little bit about the causes, the myths, the warning signs, and protective factors. We'll teach you how to respond to somebody who's in distress, to be a reliable bridge between those who are in distress till they access specialist help. Some of the concepts over here we may or may not go into, but I will try and touch upon it. I can send you more information on this because you'll work with suicidal people directly. Right. So what are the things we hear about suicide? I'm going to say a few things. Please, I'm going to unmute all of you, or you can just put up your hand. Just tell me whether this is true or false. If we talk about suicide, will the idea get into somebody's head? Does talking about suicide plant the idea of suicide in their head? Yeah, who wants to go? I just put up your hand. I don't know. Yeah. Yes. Let me unmute.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other co-host, yeah, you can just unmute anyone actually.
Yeah.
Let's try and do that.
Yeah, definitely. I'll agree with you that, talking about suicide is not that you're bringing, any kind of an ideation in them. It is only that, you're bringing them to know that, this is something that, sometimes people can feel. And like you said, you can have that kind of an ideation. These kind of ideations can happen. And it's a very common thing, like how any kind of a stress or anxiety or panic or fear can be. Sometimes when you are in deep, in so much of grief, these kind of things do come to your mind. So definitely, I would say speaking about it is the most important thing, because it will be of help to someone. If you come across with somebody with these kind of ideations, you'll be definitely able to speak. And talking about it is not giving an idea; it is already there. It is already there. So that's
Right.
what I would say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Agree with you completely. Talking about suicide, in fact, relieves the pressure.
Right,
Most people who are suicidal, inside them, they're feeling this volcano. The moment
right.
somebody talks about it, they feel like there's a pressure release. I saw a hand go up. That's, I think it's Iman Habib. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
good morning.
Yeah. Yes, please tell me.
Yeah, we'll tell about the things we hear about suicide or ideation.
I was talking about saying if you talk about suicide, does this plant the idea of suicide in their minds? Or whatever it
Yeah.
is that you wish to say, please go ahead. Yeah, I've got
Okay.
two other people raising hands. Actually, just unmute anyone. I don't know how to do it right now. It seems like I.
Right. I'll do that. Shivaji, you can go ahead. You
Yeah,
want to
I
say?
mean, Imam Habib,
Uh,
I think you wanted to say something. Go ahead and say whatever it is you want to say.
Yeah, actually, in our society, I think the most important thing is that people are becoming lonely day by day.
Becoming
So,
lonely day by day. Okay, so
yeah,
okay, understood. Okay.
and financial pressure, anxiety, depressions, and the in this modern world, the to
Mhm.
for the means to gain some things means materialistic approach.
Mhm.
This is very much becoming very much fatal today.
Right. So you're saying you're mentioning causes of suicide. Okay. Thank you for saying
Yeah.
that.
What we
Uh,
actually, I mean, the screen, what screen shows the things we hear about suicide. I'm saying so.
okay. When I say things we hear about suicide, I'm referring to myths. Do you know of any myths about suicide? One of the myths is that if you talk about suicide, that the person will become suicidal. This is not true. Okay. So are there any other myths about suicide? About saying, here's another myth. Tell me whether this is true
Yeah,
or false. Right.
it's a
If
superstition actually. It's sometimes it is people say that some what kind of power I can say it is totally superstition means a special power is upon him that brings him to that world, something that kind of. It's a
sorry,
superstition.
it's a
It's a
superstition.
superstition. Yeah, that
So you're
some
saying that
another power, another form of power actually onto him, and that power take him away.
okay. So that's a myth. So what is the truth?
Yeah, myth. Yeah. Truth is, obviously, he is going through a difficult situation in his mind because peace is
Correct.
not already in there.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
the person is going through a difficult situation in their mind, and they're
Sure,
trying to deal with it.
sure.
Yeah. Next person.
I will not tell. Yeah, I will
Next
not tell
person.
anything.
Imam,
And
I think
next person. Thank
we
you.
want to
Thank
hear
you.
from other people. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, I think the next person is Shivaji, who's in the line. Please speak up.
Very, very good morning. Thank you so much for this session. I look at suicide, which generally people have a tendency to think as if it is being used as a threatening tool to get a job done, which is very much prevalent amongst teens.
Okay. So you're saying that this is a myth or the truth? We are dealing with myths right now. So
It's a
what is
myth. For me, it's a myth because a person who is having suicidal tendencies must be going through, a situation which he or she does not know how to, handle. So it is better to
absolutely?
first understand. It is better to first understand how this thought has come to that person's mind, rather
Mhm.
than just looking at it as a tool for as a threatening tool to get a job done.
Okay. Great. Next person, please.
Yeah, next person is
And
Isha.
this will be the last because we have a lot to go through. You can
Yes.
answer the next question if you want.
Hello.
Yeah, next person.
Hi, good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. I just think personally, talking about suicide, especially with the person who's thinking about it, it's really important because somewhere in their mind, when they get to know about the repercussions or the consequences of self-harming, they'll realize that it's not actually the option they might want to choose. Yes, it's there's an idea in their mind, but when they actually think about it, when someone talks to them about suicide, it makes them realize that maybe they don't want to commit to that and process whatever happening in their life. It's I In concluding, it's important to talk about it so that the person can
Important
realize
to talk. Okay, great.
realize
Okay,
it's
I'm
not
gonna thank you. That's a great point. It's important to talk about it. I'm gonna ask you another question. Whoever's raised their hands can continue. So once a person has decided to die by suicide, is there anything that we can do? Can they be saved once they decided? They said, no matter what, now I'm going to die by suicide. Can you help them during this time? Whoever's raised their hands can talk. Yeah, go ahead.
Like we can just talk to them and convince them by telling the like I mean they can achieve so many things, not to just finish it by once. Like I mean they have a solution for it. We can explain them, make them understand that thing.
So the myth is a lot of times people think once a person has decided to die, you cannot do anything about it. That's a myth. The truth is that, so in San Francisco, there's a Golden Gate Bridge. A lot of people jump off. The people who jump off, almost all of them die because it's a great height. About 27 survivors were interviewed. All the 27 survivors said the moment I jumped off, I felt like I didn't want to die. So you have people who've decided, you have people who are already in the action and they survive and then they decide like, this is not what I wanted. So people want to end the pain. They do not want to end their life. So when you hear, especially when you hear stories, I'll tell you, there'll be times when people will tell you these kind of stories where you'll feel like, oh my God, this person is going through physical pain. This person is going through emotional pain. They have financial troubles. They have no support. And, they may be old or so you will feel like, what is it that they should be living for? There's always something to live for. And there's always some hope that you can find, right? So I remember talking to somebody, she had been abused when she was a child, clinically depressed, recently divorced, started drinking. She was in the IFS and had gone to the job drunk and had been suspended. Comes from a very orthodox family and was very scared that people, when she goes for her de-addiction program, that people will know, right? So she was scared and then she said, I have no hope. Then I was remembering that she used to run marathons. And then I spoke to her and I said, remember, in marathons, people run and there's sometimes 20, 30 kilometers. A marathon is 42.5 kilometers. There are times when what is called you hit a road, you hit what is called hitting the wall. Hitting the wall literally means that you ran into a wall and you just don't know what is happening, right? In those moments, marathoners will just put one foot and they'll put another foot. They'll put another foot, they'll put another foot. That's all we need to do. Because all we need to do is take one breath in, one breath out. One breath in, one breath out. And then seek help, find loved ones, right? So we can really help people no matter what, right? Okay. Are there any other myths that you've heard which is not true? Like one of the common myths that is there, which most people believe, is that if a person talks about suicide, they are not serious. And if they don't talk about suicide, they might be serious. Or you have somebody who's joking about it all the time, and somebody who jokes about it is not serious. So please tell me whether this is a myth or not. Yeah, go ahead, Preeti. Yes.
Preeti, go on.
Hello, good morning.
Yes.
The biggest myth I think is people think then when a person dies by suicide, so maybe he is alone or he is living alone or maybe he is living away from home. But when I was researching for my assignment this for suicide prevention, so I got this fact that in India, the biggest percentage of suicide comes from the
From? Sorry, can't hear you.
Preeti,
Hello.
can you repeat yourself?
Yeah, just repeat that. Biggest percentage of suicide comes from?
I think we lost Preeti to those last words. I
Yeah.
think her internet is giving trouble.
Okay. No problem. No problem. Preeti,
Yeah.
when you come back, we'll hear from you. Okay. I'm just going to go to one last thing which I want to definitely address. Suppose somebody dies by suicide, because all of you are working in the area of suicide prevention, and this happens a lot, right? So one of my ex-colleagues who worked for us and very much involved in suicide prevention, um, lost her first cousin to suicide, 22 years old, right? And she was saying that I feel like a fraud. So is this her responsibility? Is this her fault? So if you lose a loved one to suicide, you lose anyone to suicide, is this your fault? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Isha.
I
Can you
wanted
repeat,
to
please?
talk about when you asked that when someone is joking about suicide, does it mean real? Is
Mhm.
it real? I wanted to say that sometimes people deflect, it's a kind of a coping mechanism, and people try to deflect their real feelings by making jokes. So it's a possibility that yes, they are joking, but somewhere in their mind, they are actually thinking about it.
Got it. So you're saying that even those who are joking are actually thinking about it? Yes, absolutely. So
Because sometimes there are times that making jokes is kind of a coping mechanism
it is
too.
a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Understood. So yes, so they are joking. It's a coping mechanism. We need to take this seriously. Yeah. Who was next? Was it Tanvi?
Yeah, there was Isha Prakash. I think we can move on, Nelson. We can move on. They'll come in and ask other questions.
Sure. Okay, here's what you need to know, especially for when you have lose a loved one to suicide. This is not your fault. Okay, so what you need to do is simple. As long as you know your boundaries, you're going to be fine. So I've spent 5 years, and I have regularly people reaching out to me. Regularly, people will call, people will message, people will. There are all kinds of interventions. How do I manage? It's very difficult because you're taking on the responsibility of a human life, right? How do I manage? I have simple rules. If I'm in the position to be able to talk to somebody on the phone, I will talk. Very rarely do I go and meet anybody, and I will go and do that. Thirdly, if I'm not emotionally in the position to talk to someone, I will just send them information saying, please reach out to a crisis helpline and do all of these things, right? I have that message. So ask yourself, am I in a position to help someone? If you are, go ahead. Also, it is not only your job, try and get other people involved. The people who can you get involved? People that the other person trusts, family members, friends, cousins, office colleagues, neighbors, anyone. And you create a group, and this group will protect them. Okay? It is not a solo endeavor. You will get very exhausted doing it on your own. Initially, you'll feel good, especially if if you feel like I want to help people out, I want to be involved, I want to give back to society, I'm a gatekeeper, whatever it is, right? You will feel good about it, but eventually you're going to burn out. You can't do it alone. So please remember that as long as you follow the rules, you should not be blaming yourself. And even if you make an error of judgment, again, don't blame yourself because your heart is in the right place, right? Were you thinking about wanting to harm them? I don't think so. So don't blame yourself. Very, very important. You're doing a great job. Don't feel bad if something were to happen. All right. Okay. So the causes of suicide, I think a lot of you understand this already, but let me try and explain this to you in a way which is straightforward, right? There are many causes for suicide. Biological causes is basically decreased serotonin in the brain. This is because of a depressed brain. There can be genetic causes. There's social and cultural causes. There are physical causes. Somebody's got a chronic, kidney disease. There's a cancer, mental health related issues. Mental health is two kinds. Okay, mental ill health, which happens with, let's say, you lose your job, right? Mental ill health can be that you now suddenly have, you are now, have a breakup. So it can lead you to feeling stress, anxiety, and depression. That's mental ill health. Mental illness is that you have a diagnosable illness. It can be anything. Now, people who die by suicide, 60% of them have something related to mental health. However, the most important thing for us to remember is not everybody who's depressed is going to die by suicide. 60% doesn't mean that, just because you have a diagnosis of depression, that you're 60% closer to dying. It's just a statistic that 60% of them who die by suicide have an underlying mental health related issue. It could mean that those who have a mental health related issue also have the other issues. Let's say they are abusing alcohol, they're not sleeping enough, they've lost a loved one, or there are precipitating factors. What are precipitating factors? These are precipitating factors are basically something that happens to you out of the blue. I had a friend of mine, a travel writer, partner. She had a partner, great house, life is going well, loses her mother, goes through a lot of difficulties, goes into work, unable to cope with work, gets hospitalized, gets treatment, goes back to work, suffers panic attacks, has to quit. It took her 2 to 3 years to recover. Right? What are the biggest precipitating factors? If you lose a loved one, bereavement. If you have a kind of so there are three which all start with D, right? It's death, losing a loved one, debt, which is with financial difficulty, and divorce. When I say divorce, it also means anything. Divorce can be that you have a breakup with your best friend. A lot of these things, your support system goes down, right? I also want to tell you about precipitating factors, which a lot of people don't talk about. Precipitating factors can happen for a number of reasons. I got a call from Australia saying that his friend was physically assaulted by another male colleague, male on male sexual assault. He's married, has kids, parents, a great person in the community. Now, who can he go to? Nobody's going to understand. Goes to a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist says, "Do you think you are to blame?" So that he's becoming more and more suicidal. So somebody called me from Kerala. The boyfriend was threatening to release her intimate photos. A lot of suicides happen because of that. One of our instructors said that she's a doctor and somebody came to emergency. Young person. This young person had attempted suicide because he was caught watching porn. So these are what are called taboos, some things which shame us, some things which people consider as unethical, immoral, illegal, and now you can't go to anyone. During these times, the most important thing that you need to remember is we are all human beings. We will all make mistakes. And that does not mean that our life should come to an end. A single thing that we do is not a reflection of who we are as a person. And we do not have to bear the consequences, or our loved ones don't have to bear the consequences of that act. There are ways to deal with it, right? So whatever it is, you can deal with it. You can go to a therapist, you can go to a psychiatrist, you can go to a spiritual leader, you can go and talk to the person who's involved and ask for forgiveness, but please do not consider suicide. And try and find some friends or family members who have what is called unconditional positive regard. Different from unconditional love. Unconditional positive regard is the ability to regard somebody positively, regardless of the condition that they are in. So all of you who are in suicide prevention, remember, we all have some values and beliefs. Some of you might believe that, oh, it's bad to be, it's not good to be queer. Some of you might think you should never have an extramarital affair. Some of you might believe that you should never ever do drugs. There are many things, or cheat on your taxes. There are many things that people do. We are all human beings. It's a long life. Some of us do this intentionally. Some of us do this unintentionally. Sometimes it just happens to you. What are you going to do? Are you going to now say that, no, this is the end of my life? You do not have to do that. Please remember, there's always a recourse. So remember this thing. I want you to research this. I want you to read more about unconditional positive regard. I want you to look at acceptance and commitment therapy. I want you to look at self-compassion. I want you to look at radical self-acceptance. I want you to understand the concept of self-love. All of these are important because we live in a world which is constantly judging us. And we live in a world where we are constantly judging ourselves. So Emily Durkheim, the French sociologist, who wrote the most important book there is on suicide, which was published more than 100 years ago, speaks about the reason for suicide in a very simple way. And he says, Durkheim says that the reason for suicide is a disconnection between ourselves, is a disconnection between our loved ones, and a disconnection between us and society. So what are we? We are fractured, broken human beings. Why are we fractured, broken human beings? Because at every point in our lives, after you get out of this, talk, you're going to go back into the real world. You're going to have people look at you. You'll have people saying, this is what you did wrong. Or why are you doing this? We'll have ourselves, when we have a moment to just think, we'll say, am I doing right? Have I done enough this week? Am I doing enough for myself? Have I fulfilled my potential? Go easy. Be kind to yourself. Very, very important. All right. So let's move. Stages of suicide. So most people believe that there is 3 stages of suicide. However, there are things which are called impulsive suicides. We'll get to them as well. So we are talking about the first stage, which is ideation. People start thinking about suicide. My family would be better off without me. However, the fear of suicide is still more than the attraction of dying. So young people will obsess over certain music, artistic expression of thoughts. Older people might write in their diary. Maybe they say that, life is so difficult. Or just say that, I'm just waiting for the, for the divine, whoever is above, God to take me away. They have no clear plan. They're not immediately lethal. But at this point in time, what they need is psychotherapy. They need to go and talk about it because the ideation will start developing something more. Right? If you find that somebody is going through this, talk to them and say, what's going on? Are you okay? Tell me more about what's happening. Remember that if they do not, they're not helped during the, so like I said, every suicide, 25 people attempt, 100 people think about it. So this is the 100. If there are 100 are helped, they will not go to the second stage, which is, planning. So what is the plan? A plan will have the time, the date, the place, and the method. Okay. The time, the date, the place, and the method. Now, you have to take this seriously if the plan has all of it. You have to take it very seriously if the time and the date is close. You have to take it very seriously if they have more than one plan. Okay. Okay. I just want to see more faces right now because see, I was watching this movie called Avatar. I don't know whether you'll have seen it. In that, they greet each other. How do they greet each other? They say, I see you. Right now, we live in a world where we are digitally connected, socially isolated. And why do we have this fracture? I can't see Sachin. I can't see Pallavi. And you cannot see yourself. Most of us don't even know who we are. We don't even know who are, who are people who are close to. When was the last time you had a conversation with somebody who's in your family and had a heart-to-heart? Although some of you might be, who drink. People who drink open up a lot, but sometimes we don't open up. How are you feeling? Most of our conversations are so superficial. It's mediated by technology, and right now we are mediated by Zoom, and I can't even see anyone. So please turn your cameras on. Come as you are. I went to play football in the morning. I haven't had a shower, but I'm here right now. I was able to have breakfast, right? So I'm not looking bright and beautiful, but I'm coming to you as I am. This is who I am. I am Nelson Vinod Moses. I'm coming to you as I am, and all of us should come. We're all human beings. Everything else is mediated by technology, mediated by filters, mediated by a lot of other things. That's not who we are. This is who we are, and we should accept ourselves. Remember what was I talking about? Radical self-acceptance. Because if we don't accept ourselves, then it's difficult for other people to accept us. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, planning. Now at this stage, the person will start to withdraw. Okay. Because it's very difficult to be in that psychological distress, that emotional pain. But however, this pain is so much that it won't last for more than a few weeks or months. Okay. Very psychologically painful place to be in. What do you do at this time? I recommend 3 things. Over here, we put psychiatric evaluation and psychotherapy. You should also take the person to a general physician if you can. So why do you have to take them to a general physician? 90% of those who die by suicide visit a general physician 6 to 9 months before they die. Some of the pain that they feel could be physical. Some of the manifestations of emotional distress and a suicidal ideation and an attempt could be traced back to a headache, a stomach pain, something that they're chronically feeling, unable to sleep, unable to eat, or so on and so forth. All of this is related to a general physician. Go to a general physician and you'll realize that they will be able to find out a lot of things. So recently, someone I know was feeling very distressed, very angry, very much, like maybe they do not want to live. They were hospitalized and they went through a lot of tests. Finally, they zeroed it upon something called endometriosis. So she had to perform a hysterectomy, and then she's now able to do her job properly. There are other things that we do not know about. So there is a condition which is called PMDD, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which can make you clinically depressed and suicidal. Most even women who have it think it's just like PMS. It isn't. It is like 100 times PMS or more. The person feels suicidal during this time. So there are many things that we do not know about which could make you feel suicidal. So the moment you go and the moment you get the right kind of help, you start to feel better, right? So also the problem is this, because you might be feeling like there was a person who was feeling suicidal. She thought she was feeling suicidal because she'd broken up from the boyfriend. Go to the psychiatrist and diagnosed with PMDD. Immediately starts the medication, feels much better. Now, can she deal with the breakup of the boyfriend? Yes. Remember we said suicide has no single cause? That's where it comes from. Okay, so we are very complex mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. But we all have phones, right? If the phone stops working, what do? Like, you try and open it up and fix it yourself? You take it to your parents and say, please fix my phone right now? Or do you put the phone under a blanket and say, go to sleep right now? We take it, right? We take it. We have to take it. We have to get diagnosed. We have to fix it. So there is no stigma associated to this. The more you speak up, you'll realize the more you speak up. That's why the self-acceptance is important. This is who I am. This is who I am, and you have to speak up. If your parents don't support you, if your children don't support you, there are other people who do. Look at this group right now. I can tell you that each one of you can support each other. The strength you will get, you are not alone. Okay, so now the third thing is basically related to autopilot. The person has gone through ideation, planning. Now they haven't sought help. Nobody else has helped them. And they're feeling helpless, hopeless, worthless. Helpless, hopeless, worthless, and they're feeling trapped. Trapped means I have no way out of this. All right, now the person decides to make an attempt. This time, what will happen is that they will appear normal. A lot of times I hear from people who lost a loved one. I spent the entire day with my friend. She was really cheerful. We had a great time. She went home and died. Why did this happen? It happens because they're going through a lot of pain. They can't bear the pain anymore. They are unable to sleep. They are unable to wake up. They are unable to work. They are unable to do anything properly. So they say this pain is unbearable. The only way I can get out of this pain, and they've tried a lot of things. Now I say, I have to die by suicide. The moment they make up their mind, they know that they feel the pain they start to feel better. Anybody who is in pain suddenly appears normal. Anybody whose physical appearance, mental appearance starts to change suddenly, be very careful. Ask the question immediately. So listen closely to any sign that they've decided to end their life. Mobilize support from family, friends, and medical behavioral health supporters. Evaluation from a psychiatrist, general physician. So what do I mean by this mobilizing support? I've spoken about this before. So we had a gatekeeper. Somebody called her and said, if I've done anything wrong to you, please forgive me. She immediately knew something was wrong. She said, I'm sorry, is everything okay? And started to talk and started to listen. And the person said, well, for the past 2 to 3 years, I've been clinically depressed. The father had passed away. The mother was in a wheelchair, and he had been divorced, had been in a second relationship, and this relationship also didn't work out. Had become so clinically depressed that had become physically weak and decided to give up. She started talking and said, listen, I care about you. Your life is important, and I'm here for you. And then she started calling the other friends who knew this person and got them also to check in. And started giving him hope, and then got a promise that he will not harm himself till he reaches out for help. Okay? So what are the things that she did? Your life is important. I care about you. Mobilized other support from other people who can keep checking in. So this does not become a solo endeavor. Letting him know that, please promise me that you're not going to harm yourself, and also got him to promising that he will seek help and try and make himself feel better. So 8 out of 10 people contemplating suicide will give you warning signs. These are verbal. They will talk. These are non-verbal, you'll be able to see it, and they're written. Person will start to write, they will start to put it up on social media, and so on and so forth. 9 out of 10 people who attempt suicide will not die by suicide. 7 out of 10 suicide survivors will not make a second attempt. So you can always intervene, there is always hope. Life always hands you a lot of very tough things. When I was 19, my dad passed away. When I was 24, my best friend died by suicide. And he reached out to me before he died and he said, I need your help, Nelson. And I said, Ryan, I will help and I'm going to help you. Let's go and go to Nimhans. He called me on a Wednesday night and I was supposed to take him on a Saturday morning, but Friday night he passed away. The next year, my mother died. So in 6 years, I lost my parents. By the time I was 25, I lost my parents and my best friend. It's hard, right? I don't know how many of you have gone through something like losing your parents, but it's difficult. However, I used my spirituality and I said, God, this is your will. You want me to continue living. I also spoke to, the spirit of my parents and I said, I know that you all want me to continue living. And I know that you all had some dreams for me. I also know that this is how you want me to live on. And now I try and live in the best way possible. So I started Suicide Prevention India Foundation because of my friend who died. I play football and I go swimming because I know my father loved that. And I am spiritual because my mother was a very spiritual person. So their spirit lives in me. So yes, there are going to be very difficult times. And I was listening recently to someone who said, see, if you have gone through a difficult time, there's always a lesson and an opportunity over there, right? We can learn from the pain and the pain becomes a possibility. So when my father died, I gave up smoking, drinking, all of that. When my mom passed away, I switched my career and I said, I want to do journalism. I became a journalist, something I wanted to love doing. So all of you are going to go through difficult times. Take a moment, seek help, become stronger, and use that opportunity as a way to start doing things that are authentic, meaningful, purposeful, helping you live an authentic life. Like remember, I kept saying suicide is because you are disconnected from who you are as a true person. You're disconnected from the people around you who love you. So after this talk, I recommend all of you go and hug your loved ones. If you have a pet, hug your pet and hug yourselves also because you all are important. So, and yeah, so this is suicide clues and warning signs. What are you going to look for? I've decided to kill myself. I wish I were dead. I'm going to die by suicide. I'm going to end it all. If such and such doesn't happen, I'll kill myself. Not everybody will say this, but if they say this, you immediately respond to them. Indirect verbal clues. I'm tired of life. I just can't go on. My family would be better off without me. Who cares if I'm dead anyway? I just want out. I won't be around much longer. Pretty soon you won't have to worry about it. A lot of this will be very indirect and you may not be able to catch it. Okay, but the person will say very strange things. Or they'll just mumble, or they will say something and it makes no sense. Just start to listen, start to talk, saying, can we have a cup of coffee? Can we go for a walk? Can you tell me a little bit more about what's going on? Right? So remember I said that there are impulsive suicides. When the impulsive suicides can happen all of a sudden. Someone was saying that her friend got back from first semester of engineering college. Father asked for the laptop, saw some photos of hers. He shamed her, told her that I'm going to take your laptop and the phone away, walked out of the house. The mother refused to talk. Unfortunately, she died. Very impulsive. This happens a lot of times. What I want to tell you is that there could have been other reasons, obviously, underlying mental health related issues. So look out for people who are very impulsive, people who emotionally dysregulated, where they can't regulate their emotions. They're reckless, they're impulsive. Some, personality disorders, this happens. You can be neurodivergent, dyslexic, autistic, ADHD. Prefrontal cortex is not working properly. So what do? There is a lot of emotional dysregulation. Also, the ability to manage emotions. Any small thing can heighten emotions. And not only that, to bring you back, it takes a long time, right? So here are the things that you need to look out for. Suffering from severe anxiety and turmoil. They're unable to calm down. They're walking up and down. They can't sit still. And, they're jumping out of their skins. They want to worry about the same thing over and over again. They cannot be calmed down. There was a boy who said that there's a demon in my head. That demon is telling me to do all kinds of wrong things. Got diagnosed with OCD, got onto medication, is doing quite well now. Unable to sleep or stay asleep. Now they might turn to drugs to go to sleep. Or they'll say that I wish I would go to sleep and never wake up. Suffering delusions and false beliefs. Someone said that If I go to sleep, I might get COVID. So this is really important. Medical intervention may be needed so they calm down, then the problem can be addressed. Alcohol intoxication, drinking, short sign. Heavy drinking is basically you want to try and work on the pain. Okay, risk factors. The prior suicide attempt is the biggest risk factor. However, like I said, 9 out of 10 suicide survivors are not going to die by suicide. Abuse of any kind, misuse and abuse of alcohol or other drugs, mental disorders, particularly depression and other mood disorders, access to lethal means, knowing someone who died by suicide, particularly a family member, social isolation, chronic disease and disability, lack of access to behavioral health care, belonging to marginalized social groups. So risk factors basically increase your risk of suicide. Protective factors decrease your risk of suicide. So thinking about this as saying, when there was COVID, it was in the air. People got COVID, some of them died. Then the vaccine came. So there was COVID, but they were able to deal with it. So you still can get COVID, which means there are risk factors. Things happen to all of us, right? Life is very difficult. The moment you understand it and you accept it, things become easier. So now you can start to protect yourself. Protecting yourself is basically like, I go to the gym, strength, right? Financial health, look at your bank account. You're able to deal with financial stresses. We build immunity so that we're able to do physical stresses. Mentally, we can build protective factors, and these protective factors are very many. So if you are going to therapy, if you have a diagnosed, if you have a mental health related issue, and it's diagnosed, you're addressing it, you understand it, you accept it, you're taking action, you find a community of people who can. I have ADHD. I'm part of a group called ADHD India. I'm part of a group where there are 11,500 men globally, and we all talk about the issues related to ADHD. It's unbelievable the kind of support we get. Men are talking openly. People say that men are not emotional, men don't express. Over here, men are expressing left, right, and center. Right? It's unbelievable. So I recently came across a post over there, and it's an unbelievable post. And this is a post for all men here, because people think that, hey, they don't talk about it. So let me read this for you, okay? So this is what a man has posted. My days get worse no matter what. I have almost no friends anymore because I've pushed away the few I had. I've stopped giving a shit about people whatsoever. I felt like a freak my whole life and it's never gotten any better. My body has just gotten more and more injured to the point that I can't enjoy my only passion and training, no matter how careful I was. Nearly every medication I've tried gave me psychotic episodes instead of anything beneficial. Weed or ganja just numbs me. I have nothing in the way of goals, ambitions, or even money. I have to prepare extreme mental focus just to do basic tasks around the house. I struggle to maintain my job. I cry nearly every single night because I've never been and never will be remotely normal, let alone appealing to other people. I hate waking up every single day. I've been telling myself it'll get better every day for 8+ years. Even my therapist, number 4 or 5, just straight up gave up on me. Please, any one of you tell me again why this isn't a curse and how we aren't all genetic dead ends that she give up all at once, right? So so what I want to tell you is that it's important to express what's going on, and it's important to find people who understand. This person won't talk like this anywhere else. I can tell you that. Over here in this safe space, he's spoken out. So we need to find our safe spaces and we need to, feel better. Protective factors, social connectedness to friends and family, very important. When I was going through all of this, my sister, when mom passed away, my sister just jumped in and helped me out. I'm very close to her, my niece and my nephew, and I've got some really close friends. I have other friends also who provide me with other kinds of support. Suppose I have some legal trouble, I can call a lawyer friend of mine. Suppose I have something related to a medical emergency, I have a lot of people who I can call. My school friend is the medical superintendent at NIMHANS. It helps to have these kind of people. But tell me something now, suppose I hadn't gone to school with this person. Could I still have these friends? So you need to have different kinds of friends. You need to have friends who can help you with your finances, help you mentally, emotionally, legally, medically, right? So all of this is very important. Expand your base. And remember what I spoke about unconditional positive regard. Find people who will basically accept you and not judge you. Life skills in building emotional resilience. Go to an academy, go to Coursera, and start building life skills. Life skills is about communication. If you can communicate, if you can understand your emotions, you can label it, you can develop an emotional vocabulary. If you can manage conflict, all of this are important life skills. Because let's say you have a fight with your boss and you get angry and you say something and you say, this is how I am, I speak my mind. Good for you, but you've lost your job. And now that you've lost it, you don't have to get emotional about something like that, right? So if you're able to, so building emotional resilience is the ability to bounce back after there's a particularly negative traumatic event in your life. All of this can be built. Please work on this. Self-esteem and a sense of purpose or meaning in life. Everything might be going wrong, but if you have a sense of purpose saying, this is what I want to do, or there's meaning in your life saying, I need to take care of my parents, I want to get married, I want to be able to take care of dogs, I care about the environment, then you will not make that attempt to die by suicide. Cultural, religious, or personal beliefs that discourage suicide. So having this belief that saying, seeking help when you're feeling low is not a sign of weakness. This is great. You can go and seek help at that point in time. Start reinforcing these beliefs before you have reached a crisis. NSSI, basically, this is what self-harm is, right? A lot of people self-harm. People self-harm for many reasons. The most important being that they want to feel better emotionally. Physically, they harm themselves. The pain that is caused physically helps them to forget about the emotional pain. And also the body will release certain painkillers, they start to feel better. However, if they continue to do so, if they continue to harm themselves, and if they do not feel this emotional pain going away, now they will deepen the level of self-harm. The intensity will increase. And then again, they will feel better. Then again, they stop feeling better. Then they will use other methods of self-harming. Now they have diversified. This is when you need to know that this is important. Basically, you will know that, now you need to take it seriously at every point, but now the person might be at risk of attempting suicide. So what are some ways that, if you are self-harming or if your friend or family is self-harming, you need to replace it with something better. Of course, you should seek help, go to therapy, go to a psychiatrist, the pain will reduce because the pain you're feeling is emotional. Sometimes medication immediately helps. Other than that, you can hold an ice cube. You can go for a run. You can punch a bag. You can dance till you get totally tired. You can stand on your heels and wait for the pain to spread throughout your body. Same thing. Or you can just, sit on your haunches and wait for your thighs to burn with pain. You can do push-ups. You can hang. All of this is physical, but you're not harming yourself. You can do it because you start to feel better. If you move your body through dance, if you go for a walk, there are feel-good chemicals that your body will release. So hold an ice cube where the person wants to cut themselves or whatever, they can put a red rubber band or they can put a red marker. Many ways to do it. We can send you more information. Okay, we're going to talk about question, persuade, refer. Question, persuade, refer is a gatekeeper training skill. Gatekeeper training, suicide prevention skill. Okay. How much time do we have? We are at another 25 minutes. I will talk for another 10 minutes. We'll take questions for another 15 minutes. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, question, persuade, refer. What does this mean? It's pretty simple. Even if you forget about everything else related to the talk, remember this, right? If somebody you think is feeling suicidal, talk to them. You can directly ask them the question. And you can directly do it like saying, if you see that there are more than 2 to 3 signs that this person is now suddenly starting to feel better, they are intoxicated, they're not sleeping. So you can say that, hi, I'm really sorry that you are feeling this way. When many people are feeling this way, they think about ending their lives. I'm concerned. Are you thinking about ending your life? You can say that, I can see the immense pain and suffering you're going through. Are you planning to end this all? Get to the point. Try and find different ways to ask the question, direct and indirect, but ask the question. You rather have an irritated, annoyed friend than a friend who's going to basically, make an attempt because you didn't ask the question, right? So remember this. Secondly, once you ask the question and they talk to you, listen to them. Don't offer any solutions. Do not become judgmental. If you feel like what they're talking about is triggering you, just say that, is it okay if we talk to someone else? Is it okay if I took you to a mental health professional? I'm feeling triggered right now. But don't blame your anxiety on them. Don't make them feel bad that they made you feel bad. So you say, this is me. Also ask yourself, am I emotionally ready to talk to them? But when they start talking, listen to them, turn your phones off, give them your complete attention. Once they speak to you, you will build a trust and a confidence. At this point in time, you'll persuade them and say, listen, I know you're going through this pain. I can understand why you're thinking about suicide because the pain is so much. And this is fine. This is all right that you're thinking about it because the pain is pushing you in that direction. However, if you seek help and get the right kind of help, you can start to feel better. Would it be okay? Would you help me help you? So at any point in time, the person needs to feel that they still have the power to make the decision. Don't make them feel like, you are completely a waste, you are a loser, you don't know what is happening, I will help you. Keep the equation equal. And if you build what is called an alliance with them, like in the client and the therapist, it's called the therapeutic alliance. So here, if you build a gatekeeper and the person who's distressed alliance, they will allow you to persuade them and then you refer them. 3 kinds of referrals. Best is to physically take them to a clinic or a mental health professional. Second best referral, make an appointment for them and follow up and make sure they go. Third best referral, give them names of people that they can call, they should fix the appointment, then you follow up with them. So question and persuade as the crux, the referral will happen on its own. Don't jump to referral. Suppose somebody says I'm suicidal, don't say, hey, I know what you need to do, go here. Sit down, talk to them, provide them support, then refer them. QBR is not intended to be a form of counseling or treatment. You know why is not supposed to immediately say, I know someone, let's go there. Because they feel like saying, I'm opening up to you. I want you to listen to me. I don't want solutions right away. I want you to offer me some emotional support. I want you to tell me that this is going to be okay. Spandana, yeah, go ahead.
I heard a friend, from one of my friend, I heard that I don't want to go to any therapist or something. I just want to in this. It is not exactly suicidal. I cannot tell in that way. So that person, when I told that person that will go to therapist and all, like I mean uh, like I was just speaking with that person, and like as you told, that person told, I'm not comfortable to go to any therapist or something. I don't feel like going. That point came. One of my friend was little depressed and all, not exactly suicidal symptoms, but sometimes that friend feel low and all, and sometimes it will come frequently. In a regular basis it will come, that kind of depression and stressfulness and all.
Okay, understood. Okay, so what you're saying is that your friend is depressed and suicidal but unwilling to go to a therapist, correct?
No. Not exactly suicidal, but just stress and tension, depression kind of thing.
Okay.
So in that case, I asked that person to let's go to so many times I spoke, and then I asked, let's go to counselor and all. That friend told, no, it's not. I'm not feeling comfortable going to counselors and all. I think so. They had a bad experience in counseling, or I don't know what exactly that scene. They told I went one time, and I think so. They did not. In some cases, we see the counselor do not. I think so. Maybe that reason they are not ready to go to again new one or something.
Understood. So in this case, again, what you need to do definitely is talk to them and tell them that, here, listen, I understand that you do not want to go to a counselor. So first of all, you have to go through the process which I just told you, and I think you may have, but you need to continue to do it every single time. If you do not have the emotional bandwidth, then you can't. But that's why I said you need to have other people who help. So it's important that you first understand what is it that they're going through, right? Just sit down and talk to them and just say, I'm sorry that you're going through this. This sounds like a lot that you're going through. And secondly, what you may want to do is just give them some time and their space to just say whatever this is that they want to do. Just sit in silence, or just say, why don't we do something? And then let them know, say, listen, I know that you're going through this. I'm sure there are many ways to cope with this. You can do nothing, or you can, just feel the pain, or you can depend on people like me and you can talk to them. One of the ways to address this is basically going to a therapist. And if you are going to a therapist yourself, you can say, I have my own therapist. I know our situation is different, that it's helped me. It may or may not help you. We don't know. And if you've gone through a bad experience, please remember that when we're trying on a pair of jeans, do we just buy the first one that fits us? We don't. We try on many pairs of jeans. Sometimes with a therapist, it takes a little while to find what is called the therapeutic alliance. The therapeutic alliance can only be built when you find the fit. Same with anything, right? All of us go and we're looking for partners. How many people marry the first person that they meet or date? We don't, right? So these things are not easy. We go shopping. That's why it's called window shopping. So same way. Also, Spandana, what I want to tell you is that you need to be patient, and sometimes you might get upset that this person, we are willing to help them and they do not want the help. It may so happen that you might get irritated. Just be calm and ask them why they do not want to go to a therapist. And after they explain, say that, listen, I have a very trusted person. Would it be okay if I took you there and I will wait for you? And you try a few sessions. Don't give up in the first session. Can you please promise me that you'll try at least 3 sessions? And if they say, no, I don't have the money, what are you going to do? Maybe they don't want to go to a therapist because they have no money, or they think that the therapist is going to cost them a lot of money. So you'll have to find alternatives. You have to be ready with answers for everything, but mostly be patient. And if they continue to say, I don't want to go to a therapist, at that point in time, you'll share resources and say, when you're feeling like this, you can contact a crisis helpline. When you're feeling low, here are some of the things that you can do. So what are you doing? You're basically helping them to help themselves when they're going through a crisis, right? So that's important.
I
Yeah,
can
go
just
ahead.
tell one more line. Just like sometimes they just need a friends to talk. Like sometimes they don't need therapist and all. Like I mean, in short run only, that friend will be fine when the one friend will be sitting and talking. Only that friend will be fine. So I just felt it is because of some loneliness or something. Like what I observe little bit, like that may be the reason, or it does not lead to take them to therapist. It just need a friend to sit and talk. I mean, that can also be the reason, right? Like
We don't know.
Can I
We don't
answer
know.
this?
Yeah. Go ahead.
This Nelson, yeah, Spandana, yeah, we do understand. Yes, Nelson is here to also give some very good answers. I would just say, Spandana, see, we have to help them be not codependent. Codependency is something that we do not want to develop. We do not want to say that you can go to this person, like how Nelson just said. You got to try different therapists. You have to try, and of course, like you said, they don't want to go to therapist, they want friends. And in our volunteering program, that's what we say, we become the support group. So there should be having various kind of a support group, like how Nelson said, you need to make a support system for yourself, whether it is friends, family, or anyone like that. So that kind of a support system you could tell your friend to reach out for. And also, like how Nelson said, like a marathon, right? You just start putting one foot forward and then the other foot forward. That's the only way of motivating yourself. Make hobbies like Nelson said. So these are the kind of things that Spandana you can do. Right now, I think because we are in this topic, I think we will focus more on what Nelson can share with us, Spandana. We can always have these sessions later and speak about it. I hope that's okay with you.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, sure. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, thank you. We just want to get the most of Nelson.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Nelson, please go ahead and let
Correct,
us
correct.
hear the rest of
Yeah,
it.
I just want to make one last point. There is no substitute for therapy. And while a friend might be able to help another friend when the person is lonely, like I think Anupama mentioned, this codependency is not advisable. It's important that they get help from the right people. Okay. So QPR is not intended to be a form of counseling or treatment. QPR is intended to offer hope through positive action. And so this is some of the things that you can do for somebody who's suicidal. One of them is called the crisis and safety plan. Okay. Safety planning is basically, so if you have friends who refuse to go to a therapist, one of the things you can do is download a template. We can send it to you. It will have basically saying, when I'm feeling low, here are 5 people I can call. One of them will be somebody you can call between 1 a.m. or 4 a.m. That person can be in a different country, or they stay up all night. One person should be somebody who's physically closest. One person should be the most calm under pressure. One person should be somebody who'll basically support you no matter what, unconditional positive regard. So make a note of all of that. Have the number of your therapist, your psychiatrist, your general physician. Have all the crisis helpline numbers, right? Safety planning is also understanding what kind of distress that you can go through. What is your internal coping strategies that you can do? Write it all down, saying when I'm feeling low, I will go out for a run. When I'm feeling low, I will pray. When I'm feeling low, I'll go meet a friend. And then making sure that all the friends and family will help you, right? And then making sure that you do not have which can harm yourself. So suppose you know that when you're feeling low, that you will start drinking, or you might harm yourself using something. Keep all of that away. Yeah. So Pradeep, yes, go ahead.
Hi, good morning, Nelson, and thank you for the beautiful session. Just I had a quick question. Wherein I know one of my friend, she's suicidal, and she's one of my very close friend. But for further study, she's out of Mumbai, so we don't meet, often like we used to when she was in Mumbai. Uh, she's also a chronic depression patient, wherein she is going to a psychiatrist. But recently, she have stopped, visiting, irrespective of the friends and family, telling her she was once suicidal. Where she had opened up to me and one of a very close female friend, and then we decided to talk to her. Then we let her parents know, and the parents were quite cool to accept it. Wherein she was in the first place frightened to tell them, but things went good, and things are working good. But now recently, it's the last of post graduation which is coming up, and I mean, out of nowhere, somewhere when things are going fine, and I got to know that she was triggered. Uh, and when I asked her what, like, were there any cause, any instances, she had no idea. She just like, I was going for a walk, it was everything fine. I was walking, I was in a happy mood, and when I came home, I tried to harm myself. Then we kind of informed her best friend, the female friend, she is next to her. We also asked her to, go to a psychiatrist. She have a meeting on Sunday, probably, and we'll make sure that she attends it. But then I'm quite not able to understand as a friend what could be my roles to support her. One question, and second, how if she's going under a treatment, how can this trigger her again and again, and without she knowing it, what exactly was that? Could you just light that topic if you're a specialist into that? That would really help me understand what exactly she's going through and how, as a friend or as a best friend, I can help her out.
Right. So first of all, let me just address the point about saying how do we know what happens. we are very complex. Okay, we are a product of our genetics. We are a product of our environment. We are a product of our lifestyle. We are also a product of our our biology and all the other things that are happening around, right? So it's very, very complex. So I'm trying to understand. That's why I said, why does a person feel suicidal? You can start writing down and finding out that what happens, and there can be various triggers, right? People so some people start to feel suicidal after they get a promotion. Some people will feel suicidal if they don't get a promotion. Why do people feel suicidal after getting a promotion? They have additional responsibility now and they feel like, I'm not sure I can handle this. There's more stress. They struggle more. Some people don't get a promotion. They feel like, I'm a loser. I've not got a promotion. So this is more complex. One way to do this is to actually journal and seeing whether there's a pattern to the triggers, right? The other way is, of course, to talk to your psychiatrist and your therapist. The therapist will be able to help you understand that better. As a friend, you can start noticing signs pretty early. As a friend, you can start supporting her no matter what. As a friend, you can start not, trying to figure everything out because it's difficult. As a friend, you can make sure that you make her feel safe and there's an open line of communication between you and her. As a friend, you can start to understand what is her diagnosis. Is it depression? What kind of depression? Is it a little bit more? Is there some? So there is something called adverse childhood experiences. Adverse childhood experiences is basically anything which impacts you adversely when you're a child. That thing is carried into your adult life. The single most important indicator of your mental health is whether you've had an adverse childhood experience or not. If the person had a traumatic experience, they might be suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. So you can have complicated post-traumatic stress disorder, CPTSD. That is something that get triggered anytime, anyhow. So we don't understand it, right? So, and there are many ways. A lot of times she may have been diagnosed with depression, but her real reason for the depression can be undiagnosed ADHD, because ADHD leads to depression and anxiety, even feeling suicidal. One in 8 people are neurodivergent, dyslexic, autistic. Those are easier because they are learning disabilities as well. ADHD, you can be completely functioning, or a personality disorder which has not been picked up. So we're quite complex. So getting to that is going to be really tough. However, what you can do is making sure that you understand the medication, understand the triggers, understanding how to support, being there, making her feel safe, making sure that she seeks help, and just being there and creating that support system that I spoke about. It's not just your job. So create that support system with her parents or a brother or a sister and other friends. Yeah, I think there's a hand up. I'll take that as the last question. Or let me finish this and then we'll take all the questions in one shot. I am willing to stay back after 12 also, since we are very interested in this topic. Let me finish. Hope box is basically something you can create for yourself. You can create a hope box which is physical, or you can create a digital hope box. Cards, notes, emails with special meaning. Call all your friends today and say, send me voice notes and say why you love me. Why not? Keep that with you. And when you're feeling low, listen to that, okay? Photos of special times and places in the past or desired destinations for the future. I went to Japan for 16 days, absolutely loved it. One of my friends, she's along with a partner and another person, she's a guardian for a sanctuary in Hawaii. That sanctuary has like wild horses. It's beautiful. It's got like a waterfall in the cliff, and it's off a cliff, like in a beach. I keep thinking whenever I feel low, right? It's very tough, life. But I keep thinking, oh my God, wow, I want to travel. And my cousin sister is in New Zealand, or my best friend is in New Zealand. I want to travel there. So all these lovely things you can start thinking about, put pictures of them over there and say, I want to go. Spiritual verses, prayers, or objects if you're religious. If you're not religious also. Recordings of relaxing music, uplifting music, really helpful. Letters or recordings of loved ones, inspiring articles, affirmations, quotes, jokes or stories that make you laugh, list of goals, dreams, aspirations, coping card with skills or activities, something where you can just start distracting yourself. Anything else that reminds you of reasons to say positive. So most of the time when you're feeling suicidal, people will start listing all the reasons they do not want to live. So let them list it and say, okay, more. And finally they get tired. Now you say, tell me reasons you want to live. Let them start listing that. So anything, if you have plants, if you have animals, people do not want to die. Take all threats and warning signs and risk factors seriously. When you're feeling suicidal, talk to someone you trust, anyone. It can be a neighbor also. It can be a security guard. It can be a cook. As tough as it seems, this feeling will pass. Wait it out. Go for a walk. Distract yourself. Think about all the reasons that make life willing, including those who love you and those whom you love. Do not drink or consume drugs. This will make it worse. If you have anything that you can use to harm yourself, put it away. Don't stay by yourself. Ask a friend or a family member to come and stay with you. If you can't, go and stay with them. If they can't stay with you, then just be on video with them. Have a safety plan when the feelings get intense. Have the number of a suicide crisis helpline, friend, therapist, hospital. Again, your life is precious. You're important. Your life is worth living. Promise yourself that you will seek help and give yourself that chance to get help. Call a helpline and take an auto or taxi to a hospital that provide you immediate psychiatric care. Many people feel suicidal. Abraham Lincoln was suicidal. His friends took away his gun. He became the president of the United States. So it's okay to feel suicidal. Don't get stressed about being stressed. Say, this is fine. I know what I need to do and I will get better. Some of these simple things are very important. You have to eat and don't eat foods which are going to make you feel worse. Sugars and carbs will crash your energy. Sleep 7 to 8 hours of a day. Try and have the same routine. Very, very important. I can't stress this enough. If your circadian rhythm is out of whack, you're going to feel terrible. And you can't, make up for sleep. Exercise, you'll feel better. Get in touch with nature. Get out. Vitamin D. Close relationships. I spoke about this. Meditate, pray. I do mindfulness meditation. So the ADHD, I have 5 things I can do. 5. One is medication, CBT, DBT, which is therapy, omega-3 supplements, exercise, mindfulness meditation. I do all the other 4. So omega-3, mindfulness meditation, therapy, and of course, exercise like crazy. Find time to do something fun. Read, listen, or watch motivational, inspiring books. Talk to a therapist. Don't overconsume caffeine, drugs, or alcohol. Okay, this is my last slide. Remember, almost all efforts to persuade someone to live instead of attempt suicide will be met with agreement and relief. Don't hesitate to get involved. Those are my details. For those of you who want to ask me more detailed questions, reach out to me, and I will get in touch with you. I'm going to stop sharing after a while. Right now, we can take questions. Who wants to ask me? I think Habib had a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was Iman.
Yeah.
Yes, Iman, please go ahead.
Yeah, just tell me or explain something why a person who is using the suicide as a blackmailing things, means in his home or in his parents, to his parents.
Suicide as a what?
What is
bargaining chip?
Blackmailing. Actually, he's asking. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What about that person?
How I can treat that situation? Or actually, he is not suiciding, but he asks his friends to or to his parents to buy this iPhone, or otherwise I'll get suicided.
Right.
Then.
Right. Okay, understood. So remember what we said earlier. People who are joking, people who are doing this and that. What do we do with them? Do we take it seriously?
Obviously seriously, but actually, if he not
there is no but actually. You have to take it seriously. So some people, you might think they are doing this for the iPhone, or they're doing this for attention, or they're doing this for love.
Yeah.
But you have to replace that word iPhone seeking or attention seeking with help seeking. They might be seeking the iPhone, but they're actually seeking help. So you need to sit them down and say, what is going on? Why are you doing this? Is there anything else that is happening? And they actually might be something really, critical going on, and they don't know themselves. So remember we said we're not going to judge them by saying they're not suiciding, they're not doing it, they're not serious. We're judging them. You cannot do that at all. You have to take it seriously. What if the person dies? What are you going to do then? Are you then going to say, no, 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 I thought that the person was joking or they only wanted the iPhone? The iPhone is not the problem. The problem is that they're saying that they want to die. Do all of us, all of us want a lot of things, but do all of us say, no, I'm going to die? There is something going on. You have to address that. And for that, you need to listen. Once you build a trust and a confidence, you have to say, can we please go and meet with a psychiatrist? Or a doctor, just say doctor, and you can take them to a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist is a doctor, or take them to a clinical psychologist or any other kind of therapist. So you have to take this seriously, Iman. You can't say that they're not serious. They're only doing this because they want the iPhone.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, next.
It's Krishna Kumar. Can you go ahead and ask the question, please? Yeah, if you could put on your camera, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, go ahead. I think you're on mute. Can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Okay, now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So saying very enlightening perspective on all these things. I mean, what I was very much, what was different for me today is that you said that in the beginning that people want to end their pain and not their lives. So I was just concentrating on that because I happened to be in touch with a gentleman for the past 1 week, and you said we have talked about all the steps to be taken and all, but the person is he's having all these thoughts because for a simple reason that he finds his wife very nagging. So I was just thinking I heard his side, and now how can I go and alleviate his pain? Like do I go and ask him to call his wife on a conference call or something like that, and talk to the lady itself that this situation is like going out of hand because of some small things which can be taken care of within the family. Or how do I how do I involve his son in this matter?
Okay. Okay. So see, I basically cut my finger about 2 months back. There are 4 stitches here. So when I touch my body, there is no pain. When I touch myself here, there is a lot of pain. So he's saying his nagging wife is making him feel this way. But basically, she's touching something where there is already pain, maybe. So the pain is possibly within him. It's possible, is it not?
Right.
So it is possible that his wife is basically could be nagging, whatever. But if you're not in pain yourself within you, people can't make you feel suicidal or depressed. So the real reasons could be something else. So maybe he is depressed. So there is something else going on. Of course, the wife has a role to play, that she can be supportive. Maybe so the first thing I would say is focus on him. Focus on him and if he becomes a different person, then he may not feel that his wife is nagging, or you'll be able to address it better. If he goes to therapy and says, how do I talk to my wife about how she can communicate to me? But if you try and do this, unless the wife knows you and trusts you,
it's not going to happen. Yeah, I know that.
Remember, a lot of us are trying to fix, right? We are. It's a very human response. It is not our job to fix. It's our job to listen and provide emotional support. As long as we do that, we will be fine. And you don't have to feel any better about saying, feel worse if something goes wrong. Or your job is just to say, here's how you can help, right? So we don't know who's right, who's wrong, or whether both are wrong, whether both are right, whether both are wrong and both are right. That's how it is. So yeah.
So family counseling would help, do you think? If I can suggest, if I can get to a stage where I can, suggest
Yeah,
him
family
that.
counseling would help, but you need a professional. So I mean,
Yeah, of course.
yeah. It will definitely help for everyone to just speak their mind.
All right, since this appears to be a marital, issue, sort of a thing,
Yes. It could be a marital issue, but I also
Or-
said that it could be.
Yeah, whatever it would come out during that
It
counseling, I
will come out.
suppose.
It will come out. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Krishna
Thank you so
Kumar,
much.
can,
You're
if I
welcome.
may just interrupt here,
Yeah.
Krishna
Yeah.
Kumar, you can write to us and we will give you referrals, which will
Yeah,
help
sure.
a friend. So
Sure,
there is couples counseling, there is family therapy, all those things can be given. So
Okay, sure.
yeah, so we can
Yeah,
definitely do
sure.
that. Yeah,
Sure.
thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much.
the
Yeah.
question. Yeah, thank you, Nelson. Yeah. Anyone else for questions here? We have a few questions in the chat box.
Yeah.
Nelson.
Okay. Let me look at them. I haven't seen the chat box at all.
Yes, I can.
I'm going to answer all of this and we're going to end. If we come to 12:15, we'll end there, right?
Yes.
How to question the person without making them feel uncomfortable or immediately keep their guards up and try to lie and avoid getting questioned. So you can say, I'm concerned about your well-being. Maybe there's nothing wrong, but could you just tell me a little bit more about what's happening for my own sake? And you have to do it out of concern, not out of curiosity.
Right.
And you can say that maybe everything is fine, but tell me a little bit what's going on, and let them talk openly. Would you explain suicide as a blackmailing instrument? I already spoke about this. There was this piece in news in the toy that a teenager died by suicide because the mother refused to cook her favorite dish. Again, remember what I said. There are underlying factors. The newspaper always wants to report saying, hey, this is what happened. That's not the real reason why it happened. There must have been negligence, neglect, maybe an undiagnosed mental health related issue. By the time a person is 14, 50% of all mental illnesses will start to manifest. By the time you're 24, 75% of all mental illnesses will manifest. Most of them are undiagnosed and untreated. There are many, many, many reasons. Please do not just think that this is related to that. Yeah. It was interesting when you mentioned about men seeking safe spaces. I understand safe spaces makes us feel better to open up. Doing things again will not help and will only normalize men to stay emotional and will again stop men from opening up as how it's happening now. No, men are normalizing being emotional and they're also seeking help. So it's actually not stopped them. It is actually helping. So there are 11,500 men over there and they're openly talking about their pain. Unbelievable. And a lot of them are on medication. A lot of them are on therapy. A lot of them are doing self-help. They're doing unbelievable work. I have never seen a group like that other than maybe the Gabor Mate's group on trauma. How to help someone whose family member has died by suicide, what to say to them. So there is something called postvention. Postvention is reducing pain, increasing healing. Postvention is about letting the person know, first of all, that I am sorry that this happened to you. How are you feeling? I'm sorry this happened to you. May I let you know that I'm here if you want to talk to me. I'm sorry that this happened to you. If you hear them saying this is my it's all my fault, you can say, while I can understand the pain and the suffering and the regret and the anger and everything else that you're going through, do you want to talk a little bit more about it? So just let them talk about it. Definitely they will need help with processing it. And at some point when they're ready, you can let them know, not immediately, that really, when a person dies by suicide, it is not the fault of the person because of what happened. And to acceptance is very tough that this has happened. Acceptance is the first step towards recovery. So very, very painful, but that's something you can do. I'll try and send more information. So somebody can make a note of all the information. I promise I can send it all. So postvention is a process. Yeah.
Yes, Nelson, I have my associate here, Nisha. Nisha, you can just raise your hand here. So Yeah, so she will make all the notes. Some of them have asked even for the slides and all that. So we will write to you, Nelson, and
Sure.
you can send it to us, and we will send it on our volunteer group. We will do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
any more questions? Anyone?
I think we have come to end of the questions.
Sure.
Yeah. So thank you, Nelson. That was so clearly said, and so many coping mechanisms that you suggested. Yes, how many ever times that you hear all this, it feels like you heard for the first time. And this is something that we have to keep on reminding ourselves also. I must say your breathing technique was marvelous. It was very calming. It's one of the things that we also follow, but it was nice and very well moderated by you. Thank you for that. And yes, like you said rightly to all the questions, we cannot go into self-blaming ourselves. That is not an answer to any situation. And support group is so important. We need to make groups. We need to find different groups for us, for each and every mood, like the way you said. Somebody to talk to, somebody to play with, somebody to gym with. You need to have different kind of support systems. So you very well explained everything. Thank you so much. And the slides were very helpful and very precise. The points were put across also very good. I think our volunteers have really had a good experience having a chat with you. In fact, some of our volunteers were even speaking out and discussing other than suicide also. So I guess Nelson have a connect with people, and that's what is making you be there in that
Yeah.
position that you are. So thank you, Nelson. Thank you for coming to Pran, and
Yeah.
we look forward to seeing you more often. And
Yes.
we look forward to some of the slides that you will be sharing with us.
Yeah.
And if we have any questions from our volunteers, please write to us, and we will
Yes.
forward those questions to Nelson. And of course,
Yes.
he's given his phone number and email ID, and I think you can keep in touch with him also. So great having you here, Nelson, and thank you
Pleasure.
all
My pleasure.
volunteers. Yeah, thank you all volunteers to have come today. We had at one time we had about 40 odd people, then it dropped down to 30. But nevertheless, thank you. In a short notice, we've had so many of you participate in this chat that we had with Nelson. So thank you, and thank you,
Can we take a photo of everyone? That's fine. I really enjoyed my session. Thank you, Anupama. Thank you, Pran. Thank you, all of you, for attending and all your kind words. This is what makes me go on, because this work is not easy, but all of you, thank you. Like I said, all of you are instruments, and all of you can help prevent suicide. And also, when you're going through a tough time, please help yourself.